Hi, this is Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I've got this pretty little card using some of our leftover scraps. So let me set this aside and let's get to the crafting. And of course you can buy all of today's supplies in my Stampin' Up! Store. To start this card, I've got a piece of Whisper White that's cut to 4 by 5 1/4. And then we're going to lay out our scrap strips that we have. I've got Melon Mambo, Magenta Madness, Coastal Cabana, Just Jade, Granny Apple Green, and Crushed Curry. Now these are all cut to a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4, and I'm just going to nudge them up my layer a little bit so that they're touching each other and about evenly spaced top to bottom. Okay, so I'm going to remove that. Let's nudge those back in place and make sure that we're straight here on the grid paper. I'm going to go up to a top line here and move over to, so I see a straight line on the top and down the side. When you're laying down a bunch of straight things, they do indeed need to be straight, unless you're going to cut your strips and your base layer larger than needed so that you can account for any non-straight that you end up. So I'm just checking this on both sides. I've got a grid line to work with on both ends, and then I'm going to slide out my Magenta Madness. Now these strips are perfect. I don't know if you saved the strips that you cut off layers, but I do, because they're great for sentiments, lining the inside of cards or something like this. Okay, and you can see I'm working the grid lines on either side. And then my Coastal Cabana. And it's okay if your strips are a little longer than your base. I'm just going to move this up to see that I'm still going straight here. And Just Jade. Let's make sure I'm still straight. Doesn't do any good to make sure my strips are straight if my base is not straight. Okay. And 2 more. Granny Apple Green. You could make, if your cardstock stash looks like mine, you could make lots of these cards and not have to cut up any of your whole sheets. Okay. So let's let that dry a minute, and then I'm just going to turn it over and use my snips down each side just to trim off the little bit of overhang that I have. Okay. And then the same thing here. And since I was using scraps, some of these have more overhang than the other, depending on how big the piece of scrap was. But they're, in the end, they're all a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 inches. So let's go ahead and put that on our thick Whisper White base. And I know some of you all ask me, what's the difference? Why do I sometimes use regular Whisper White and sometimes thick Whisper White. Generally speaking, thick Whisper White is for my base because it's heavier and feels nice in your hand as if your card is substantial. And then I like Whisper White for stamping and for layers. It stamps beautifully, not that the thick Whisper White doesn't stamp well. And then, of course, you aren't putting as much weight on your finished card, and that's particularly important if you're mailing the card. Okay, just lining everything up there. Now, next, I've used these Wreath Builder dies, and I've cut 2 pieces of Whisper White, and we're just going to dot on a little bit of glue around here so that they'll stick together. And I'm turning them to find a place that gives them enough of the back layer peeking out. Let's give that a good touch all over. And then let's add some mini dimensionals. And once you've doubled these up, it's easier to put the mini dimensionals on because they're not as likely to show through the lacy bits. Okay. And let's pull the backings off. And our card is almost done. Okay, let's slide this over a little bit, and we're going to put this in here. Let's see if that looks center-ish. Okay, so now we need our sentiment pieces. And I've got some gold foil and 2 of the well written dies, and then a piece of the adhesive sheet. Let's just move this out of the way. I don't know if you've used the adhesive sheet or not, but this comes in 3 strips on here, and the strip pieces versus the solid backing are what's sticky. So I'm going to stick my gold foil sheet down here, and then let's just use my scissor and cut around. I'm going to cut this much of it off. Okay, now let's pull this piece off, and next I'm just going to take these and run them through my die cutting machine, the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and I will be right back and we will adhere them to our project. Okay, so here's what it looks like after I have run it through with the adhesive sheet and the gold foil. You do want this protective sheet over the top so that your plates don't get all sticky. So let's just pull the words out here and we'll set that aside. And then I'm going to use my take your pick tool and just give these a little bit of a poke and pull them right on out. So you've got the gold foil, the backing sheet, the protective sheet is here, comes right out of your die. And then let's do the same thing here. Okay. And we don't need the center of our O, so we'll just quick poke that out. And let's see, our A came out. And this word originally said thanks. And so I'm just going to trim this last little bit here because we want thank, not thanks. And let's bring our card back in. And, oop, I left the center of the H in. Didn't look for that. And then I'm just going to use, oops, got all kinds of little bits here. You might take your pick and pull that backing off. And this is sticky now on the back. No glue to dot on. And we'll put that there. Be careful that you don't pull it out of shape as you're placing it down. And I'm just trying to see the edge of the backing sheet here. There we go. It's different when you're on camera versus when you're at home, and you can pull that right up to your face. And we're just going to lay this one here and use the line as our guide and straighten that K up and give them all a press down, and they stick. Yay. And that was easy, no glue to dot on with the adhesive sheets. And now we're going to put on a little bit of bling to zhuzh it up a little more. I love the simple concept of using the colored strips, but that doesn't mean I can't have my bling as well. Oops. Going to chase this one all around. Okay, and there we go. Pretty little thank you card using our scrap strips and the wreath builder dies. Thanks for stopping in. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring the bell if you'd like to be notified the next time I upload a video. Please share this with your card making friends and come back another day. Bye.